What's up?
Parang may problema ako. Sige ng document review. Uy, sakto may naaalala ko document. Ayun. Yung document, it consists of many forms. It can be technical documentation, product data sheets, press release, and other product brochures and other stuff. Tapos, the document review process is defined by our workflow. The review is a series of process or steps that are performed in sequential order. This is the create, review, approve, update, and publish. After the document or web page is created, it is made available to a group of people for review, either concurrently or sequentially. And then this stage generally requires some collaboration between the reviewers. Siyempre, kailangan may summary yung lahat ng members, diba? Tapos, after nung mga comments and suggestions, pwede mo nang i-approve yung document. Then, pwede mo i-update yung document mo and then publish na. Ayun.
Salamat din pala yung document review.
May problema ako.
Ano yun?
May problema ako sa homework eh.
Yung homework?
Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng document review?
Document review? Yeah.
Alam eh.
Yung document review. Yung document review kasi, yung purpose niya kasi, is to review a variety of existing sources. So, may mga talagang gumawa na nun. May available sources online or in the library or kahit saan. Then, with the intention of collecting independently verifiable data and information. So, for example, ikaw, magkakonda ka ng document review. So, maghahanap ka ng mga documents. For example, ito. Tapos, yung data na i-gather mo is manggagaling dito sa mga documents na to.
Pasok? So that's its process pala. So, what are the benefits I can get from using this method?
So yung advantages of document review. First, information contained in extant documents is independently verifiable. Do you know the meaning of extant?
No.
It's yung still existing, current.
Existing.
Yeah, so if it's independently verifiable, kasi when your source, so diba it's current, so it's legit. You can get information from that, from legit authors and such. So yun. For the second one, document review process can be done independently without needing to solicit extensive input from other sources.
I see.
Do you know what that means?
But can you elaborate more?
Okay. So basically, you don't need to get input from other sources, which means you can get it from the document itself. So, okay. The last one, document review is typically less expensive than collecting data on your own. Kasi when you get research pa, you need to buy the equipment, the personnel sometimes, and then it's gonna be time consuming.
So in short, it's hassle-free.
Yeah. So, okay.
Good. So now, I know what the advantages of that document review is now. So, sa ngayon naman, gusto ko naman malaman kung ano yung disadvantages.
So first, ang isa sa mga disadvantages niya is yung information in the documents may represent a perspective that is not aligned with the needs assessment project. So, kapag maghahanap ka ng mga sources or documents, dapat you should research na within your goal lang. Yung goal ng topic. Huwag kang mag-research ng kung ano-ano lang. Tapos, data in the document source may not be exactly what you want for the needs assessment. So, dapat talaga, when you're doing a research, dapat talaga, i-break down mo lahat ng mga subtopics na pwede para makukuha mo dun yung talagang, para ma-extract mo dun yung talagang gusto mong makuha information. Then next, obtaining and analyzing necessary documents can be a time-consuming process. So kapag mag-a-analyze ka ng documents, so talagang mahaba siya, mahaba proseso niya. So talagang konting tiyaga lang. Saka para konti lang yung time na ma-consume mo, dapat magaling ka talaga mag-research. Dapat alam mo yung nire-research mo. Saka dapat nakalagay lahat doon kung ano yung mga listahan, kung yung para
organize.
para organize. Then
I'm curious, is Wikipedia a reliable source?
So kasi dito, isa pang disadvantage is that you are not able to control the quality of data being collected and must rely on the information provided in a document to assess quality and the usability of the source. So base dito, you cannot use talaga the Wikipedia because it is freely edited by anyone. So kahit sino, based lang yung Wikipedia kasi, pwede siyang i-edit ng isang tao based sa perspective niya. Yung perspective niya pwedeng mali or tama. So, this talaga siya reliable. Then, you can also use the internet for sources. Yung talagang source niya hindi lang Wikipedia. Yung talagang pupunta ka sa, yung meron siyang
May sariling writer.
may sariling writer. Kung may date na na-publish, kung saan. Tapos, you can also use books para hindi lang sa internet based kasi minsan yung internet hindi talaga siya reliable. So para mas mabuti, you can search those books.
So in conducting a document review, you can use two kinds of documents as your sources. These two documents are the quantitative and qualitative documents. Mr. Gallo will explain further of what our quantitative documents are.
So quantitative documents consist of counts or frequencies, rates or percentages, or other statistics that document the actual existence or absence of problems, behaviors, or occurrences. These data can yield representative and generalizable information. These methods are usually objective and require the use of standardized measures so that varying perspectives and experiences can fit into a limited number of predetermined response categories. These methods are usually easier to summarize and compare than qualitative methods.
So here are some examples of quantitative documents. These documents may include surveys, questionnaires which contain open and close-ended questions, and lastly, archival research that may include tables, graphs, and charts.
So here are some of the advantages of quantitative documents. So generally, quantitative documents are easy to analyze and summarize since it is represented by graphs, tables, and charts. It can include relatively large number of questions and surveys that can yield more data. Also, comparisons can easily be made. And lastly, easier to interpret and understand or used by most people.
So now, here are some of the disadvantages of using quantitative documents. First, the quality of data may not be always rich and detailed as the qualitative documents. The quality of the gathered data is dependent on the quality of the source. Second, accuracy of gathered data can be questioned since the content of the data of quantitative documents are not constant. Third, the quantitative documents require more sophisticated means of analyzing the data. And lastly, related quantitative documents may have different results.
So I'll be talking about qualitative documents. They usually result in descriptions of problems, behaviors, or events. They can provide narrative descriptions of people's thoughts and opinions about their experiences, attitudes, and beliefs. These measures provide the stories that illustrate the nature of the problem addressed. So, next, the examples of qualitative documents. So, these are key informant or individual interviews, focus groups, open-ended questions on a survey or questionnaire, logs, journals, diaries, and essays, stories or case studies, participant observations, and field notes. And so, next, the advantages of qualitative documents. So, they usually capture more depth and provide insights as to the why and how of attitudes and behaviors. And they clarify quantitative data and sometimes puts it into the context of people's lives and experiences. This makes quantitative data easier to understand and provides more details and nuances and explains what the program means to the people involved. So for the disadvantages, qualitative documents, they usually are time-consuming to capture and analyze. This data is more subjective and may be difficult to summarize and compare systematically. So it is generally viewed as less reliable since qualitative data is more subjective than quantitative methods and yield smaller sample sizes. Okay, that's all.